Welcome, beautiful creative soul. I'm so happy that you're joining us today. Today's topic is all going to be about identifying and discussing what keeps light workers from shining their light bright. So, if you see yourself as a light worker, then hands on heart, this show is intended for you. Chakra-Care for the creative soul, if this is your first time joining us here, is a show that offers you some soul balm every Sunday, as well as a sacred invitation to slow down and really begin to restore calm so you can tune into your divine creativity. In these shifting times, it's never been more important to restore the sacred to your self-care. I'm here as your guide to support you to care as much for yourself as you care for the world while you're birthing your divine dreams. May you dive into the depths of your soul, befriend your body, master your mind, and soar with your spirit so that you can feel truly replenished and inspired to share your sacred soul gifts with the world. Hi, my name is Pollyanna Blanco, and my soul has called me to serve at this time on earth as a sacred self-care coach, creative midwife, quantum energy healing practitioner, transformational teacher, and author. I've been on this inner awakening journey now for well over 20 years, and I've studied and practiced numerous energy healing modalities, not only to support my own healing and also that of my clients. You know, this journey has been a discovery, a process like it has been for so many people. We all on the awakening journey, I find, get kind of pulled in so many directions. And as I reflect on both my own journey back to wholeness, as well as the people who've been drawn to working with me, what I've noticed and witnessed is that sometimes light workers slide their light dimmer switch back and forth. And I've also noticed what invites us to shine our inner light bright, because this is something on my own inner awakening journey that I've needed to face and explore and get curious about. So this is what I feel really guided when I tuned into my expanded self about what I could offer and serve you today as a bit of Sunday Soul Balm, is this topic of why we sometimes dim our light and what I've come to learn along the way that I feel guided to share with all of you today. And after I speak to this topic, I will invite you into some sacred self-care space so that you can nourish your energy for the week ahead and just so that you can shine your light bright and feel, lit up and connected and online with the divine, because that's really been when I, feel into my own now moment, what I have come to know to be true, that when we're living connected to our divine light, our divine awareness of our expanded self, in other words, our consciousness begins to expand and we begin to identify even beyond the term of a light worker. I mean, these are all just semantics, really. However, I like to use the term light worker because I feel like it's such an entry point when we're on the inner awakening journey and we begin to shift from, the old programming about what's in it for me and begin to transition into what's in it for us, the awakened ones, to what's in it for all of us as one collective, unified, energy field of, allness and at oneness. And so what I've come to learn along the way is that, and this is something that you've likely been learning too, because a lot of light workers face all kinds of, ups and downs and challenges in their life that offer doorways into our awakening into reconnecting and reconnecting with and remembering our expanded sense of self and the world and anchoring it here. And so for a lot of us, those experiences that sort of take us out of what we expected from life, I like to call them plot twists or curveballs. At the heart of it is unhealed trauma. And the reason I phrase it as unhealed trauma is because even when we have been awakening for some time, there are so many layers to us. And there's this ongoing emergence process that's inviting us to really begin to shed those layers, and to take off that heavy coat and to travel lighter and with more peace, love, and joy in our experience, and begin to recognize how we can not only nourish that and also sustain and generate that, and so that we can flourish, and through our own presence, our own activated and embodied awareness of this, we can begin to be the way showers and pave the way for others and invite others just from your presence to do the same. So without going too deep into this, because there's so much I could say on this topic, and I don't want to present myself as someone who is a psychologist or a trauma specialist or anything like that, because that wouldn't be in alignment. However, having been a chakra dance facilitator now for close to 10 years and having been learning a lot on my own inner journey, what I can say about trauma is that none of us enter this earth plane and spend some time here without experiencing some degree of trauma. And I know for a long time I really hesitated about using the T word because it felt so heavy. And I'm going to speak to that more specifically in a moment. I'll loop back to that. But right now, what I just want to say is that trauma is a spectrum. You know, oftentimes the first thing that may come to our minds when we hear that word is the really extreme end of the spectrum in terms of all kinds of intense experiences that from physical, emotional, mental violence and whatnot. However, anytime we have a response to something that happens to us that keeps our energy stuck and looping in fear-based programs and beliefs, and it causes us to suffer or struggle, that, in my humble opinion, is a trauma. And so it's not, there's often this myth about trauma is about the actual event. And because two people can experience a similar or the same event even, and one person experiences a sort of a constriction as a result of that experience, and another person continues to move forward and expand and doesn't get part of their energy within them locked into that experience, and feels stuck there, not knowing how to move forward without taking off a heavy coat. So again, the beautiful thing, even when it doesn't seem beautiful, it seems the polar opposite of that. Even when it's painful, even when it's difficult, even when it's, oh, there aren't words for it, depending on where an experience may fall on that spectrum. The sacred invitation in all of it for all of us, if and when we are ready to claim it, is a restoration of our wholeness, is coming home to our true core self and knowing ourselves beyond any limitations that have sought to keep us stuck in struggle, in suffering, in fear, in hesitation, and in doubt of who we truly are. And we're magnificent, beautiful, divine creative, co-creative beings. And we're here, anyone, I would say, who's here at this exact moment on earth has locked within them and is here to liberate a deeper truth, a core soul purpose that, whether you're already aware of it, kind of aware of it, sort of aware of it, or not aware of it, you're here now because there's something in your soul that has called you to be here, because we have a grand opportunity. It's so exciting. It's actually, I get goosebumps when I think and feel into this grand opportunity that's in front of all of us. We are in this amazing shift of ages where collectively we will make the difference. As we link arms, as we, touch into those truths within us that want to be seen, want to be heard, want to be liberated, and get online with the divine and experience that continuum of who we truly are from a much vaster awareness of who we are, then magic and miracles can really truly be manifested and co-created here, and we can shift so very much. So what I want to just speak to today specifically, a little more specifically, again, there's so much I could say on this topic. And I feel guided to too, because as we are in this month of sort of Virgo energies, it's a time of purification. So I thought, what would be so supportive right now in terms of sacred self-care before we go into our practice today? And the 4 topics, because 4 in ascended numerology is all about perfect balance, that I want to speak to, that are something that I know I've experienced on my own inner awakening journey, identifying with basically wanting to make the world a better place, wanting to contribute my piece of the puzzle to heaven on earth. And, even in the beginning, I hesitated to use the word light worker because I feel like any kind of frame we put around ourselves can be limiting, right? And of course, it can be debated, and it can take us back down into all kinds of levels of awareness that can pull us into a lot of drama and confusion energy. That being said, as I've begun to embrace the use of this term light worker, what I also want to speak to is that there are some, I guess you could say, misunderstandings. And again, take only what resonates for you, and let the rest fly out the window. Listen to your own heart. So before I jump into this share today, I'm going to invite you to connect with your heart, because that is the most important thing you can do. And just take a moment to set that intention to open to your divine connection as I share with you. So I'm going to invite you to place your hands on your heart, and together we're going to share 3 deep, beautiful Ave Saw breaths. And if you're not familiar with this breath, it's from my beautiful, beloved spiritual teachers, Sri Ram Ka and Master Lady Kira Ra. And it's a gift to the earth at this time. So on the inhalation, it's an invitation to, open to the divine connection, the expanded sense of ourself, that continuum of who we really are in its fullest expression available to us that we can receive in this now moment. And the exhalation is this surrendering any need to control, any need to figure things out, and just be open to what is being revealed to us in this now moment. And this beautiful smile that comes on our face at the end is a reassurance to the body that all is well and everything is unfolding as it needs to, and that you're here now because your soul has called you here. So let's begin, everyone. So taking 1 beautiful deep breath in, and then we'll continue with 2 more. Hands on heart if it's safe to do so. Ave. Sa. Ave. Sa. Ave. Sa. And again, just feeling the warmth of your hands on your heart and the warmth of your heart on your hands. Okay, so what I felt called to share today on this topic of the four sort of most common issues that a lot of people on the inner awakening journey face that can keep us from fully shining our light bright. The first one is wobbliness or instability. We have the 7 embodied chakras, and then we have, the the galactic blueprint, which is a whole other share. We have the ascended chakra system, as well as the more commonly, it's becoming more common now, the 7 embodied chakra system. And in the work that I've been called to do, that's where the teacher in me, I have been a teacher in the classroom now for 26 years. That's where I've been called to meet people on their inner awakening journey. And I believe that's why I've been called to share this information and subject with you today too. So when our root chakra is not stable, forget about even being balanced. Balance is dynamic. We're constantly moving as energy beings through life. So there's no such thing as static balance, even if we might sit still to meditate. And so this instability often is a program that's been running in us from our old experiences as we're stepping into this beautiful new ascended way of being and this whole new paradigm that is so enticing. It aligns with that truth that we came here to make this world a better place. And yet this instability program has us still hooked into both inner and outer chaos. Oftentimes we're focused on the outer chaos first because that seems somehow more real and it captivates our attention. And it's life's ups and downs. It's that emotional roller coaster. It's the dramas that, we find ourselves getting hooked into. And another instability kind of program that's related, it's really not well, it is I would say, at least to instability too, is this belief that if we have problems, that's how we will receive attention and love. And so this also keeps us in a wobbly place within our experience as an energy being. Another way that we also can, we've got big hearts and big dreams. I know this has been so true for me. I've had to really learn this and be diligent and vigilant with myself around this topic of becoming an empathetic energy sponge. A bit of a tongue twister there. And because I felt so sensitive to the energies around me, all kinds of energies of places, spaces, people. And at the same time, there was a point in my awakening journey where I allowed that to be an excuse and almost had a tendency to pathologize it. And that kept me in victim consciousness. And then when I began to see it as an opportunity, a beautiful sacred invitation to walk through this door and recognize that something more in me wanted to come forward, that wanted to anchor into this, divine empowerment of knowing that I can weather it all, stepped forward. So, when we start caring for others at the expense of ourselves, when we start hooking into all this drama around us, I know I did at one point. I was in a situation in my life that I felt was overwhelming, and I didn't know at first how to unhook myself because I wanted to make it better. I wanted the situation, I wanted my legacy to be healing the situation. And while my intentions were good, I had all these old inverted programs that kept me spinning in pain loops. So that's one area that I've noticed on my own spiritual journey, and I've witnessed in other people along the way too. And as a result of these instability programs, what can happen is we can enter into something called spiritual bypass, especially in the beginning stages when we're first awakening. Although I feel it's something that can happen to us, and we can revisit this because healing is a process, and these trauma that is sort of under our radar screen, because maybe it didn't seem like a big deal or we minimized it, can still be hooked into these programs that are playing out in our life in plain sight, that for whatever reason we need to keep replaying them until we recognize them and notice what we're noticing. So spiritual bypass is another one. It's that experience where we crave relief from the suffering and struggle to surf moonbeams and rainbows. And what happens or can happen is we can end up consuming spiritual information without practicing it, without embodying it. And this can become almost like an addictive behavior. We get addicted to our spirituality as a distraction, as a way of avoiding, because basically underneath it all, we still have aspects of ourself that are hooked into this fear of the unknown, rather than surrendering into the mystery of it all, the beautiful mystery of it all. And so we seek false bliss and sweetness. And we have a tendency then to live from the upper chakras because they seem so much more fun and so much more expansive and juicy. And the first three human chakras, they're just a lot of work. Who wants to spend time there when I've been going through all of this stuff in my life? And so we attempt to, surf those moonbeams and rainbows, but we have a wobbly set of human chakras. That's our root chakra, our sacral chakra, and our solar plexus chakra. And then there's also the experience that also kicks in as I'm going to call it a coping mechanism, because, we all come in with certain programs, and one is the fear program from our ego to keep us safe. And this is where, when everything starts to not be as shiny as we first expected it to be by surfing moonbeams and rainbow, we can start to really default back into living in our heads. We believe that we can think our way through stressors and triggers, and this leaves us feeling ungrounded and even disassociated from our body. So we're sort of only half in, and maybe part of us is beside ourselves energetically. We're also disconnected from our feelings, our sensations. And that's because any of that unresolved trauma, any unresolved, stuff is creating emotional Velcro that invites in these energy drains and these distractions. And the final one I wanted to speak to that I've noticed along the way, and as well as in others, is this tendency to throw in the towel. Often when we're at the moment of a breakthrough where we've been starting to really build some momentum, maybe we've started to practice as opposed to just consume information. Maybe we've started to see shifts and positive things emerging in our life. We even feel better, we feel lighter. And then something happens to us that we thought we had dealt with, we thought was behind us, been there, bought that t-shirt, only to find ourselves saying, what's the point? This doesn't work. We become complacent, even resigned, as opposed to surrendered to the divine, because we retract into this state of believing that we're powerless, this illusion that we're somehow powerless. I like to call it the familiar discomfort zone, and it squeezes out all the joy juice in our life. It can lead to feelings of despondency, even hopelessness, if allowed to sort of take root for for too long. um, and basically, at the heart of this is that feeling of disconnection from our divine self. And this can leave us feeling alone and unsupported. And anytime that you notice in your journey where you're feeling confused, while it's all good because it's all a sacred invitation to really expand beyond the suffering and the struggle, the confusion energy is oftentimes too because those old experiences that haven't yet come to resolution are creating those energies that are don't have our best interests in mind, that you know are causing us to contract and sort of downward slide rather than expand upwards and open. And so I know I just shared an awful lot. And what I want to come back to and reemphasize again is that healing is not a band-aid, it's a process. We're like onions, and we have all these layers, and underneath all these layers, there's more and more waiting to be revealed to ourselves. This is the juicy good thing about all of this inner work that we do. And as we are ready and willing to alchemically, not just transform, but actually transmute any fear based energies that have been held in place, especially by interference energies that, you know, um, are able to kind of keep us in that wobbly state. As we begin to come home to our true self and that emerging awareness, experience, and trust of our expanded self, then this shifts any resistance, fear, doubt, or hesitancy about doing so. And what takes place is a curiosity and wonder. And our attention is captivated from that space, that energetic space. And it's a really beautiful threshold to cross. It's something that happens in its own time and in its own way. And again, so many of us have been taught that it's not thinking, but awareness that's the key to opening the door to healing. And this is so true. Awareness, consciousness is healing. It's not thinking our way through things. Thinking is not knowing, as my teacher Sri Ramkar would say. When we have awareness, there are so many different healing pathways out there, groups and programs that would acknowledge that awareness opens the door to healing. And once we walk through that door, there's a sacred invitation to change our attitude, change our behavior. And this further invites us into a new space through the door. However, in my humble experience along the way, what I really want to share with you today is that healing itself goes beyond changing our attitude and behavior. It comes through embodying our divine expanded self, inviting that divine, by dividing our divine expanded self to be present with the places within us, sorry, I'm getting tongue tied here, that have gone unnoticed and unresolved. It's through self-love, self-compassion, self-honoring of these feelings, emotions, thoughts, memories, and sensations that we begin to peel off those layers. And it needs to be in a safe space. It needs to be in a place where the body can calm down. And to then be able to move these feelings, emotions, thoughts, memories, the energy of them through gentle, conscious movement, that's when we start to begin to restore a sense of peace, love, and joy, as well as an invitation for us to trust ourselves more, the divine in us more, that loving divine presence in ourselves more. It's our body is our subconscious mind. And so how we experience that inner bodily environment, how we feel fully in it, shifts profoundly when we begin to come home to ourselves. And that is, something really profound for light workers, because we all know the light and truth that's in our heart and in our soul. And that's what motivates us to get out of bed every morning. And at the same time, there is a balance, a beautiful balance of also, it's an and, it's not a but, it's an and. And we also acknowledge that everything that's led us to this now moment where we feel called to make the world a better place is valuable too, because it got us here. We're still here, hands on heart, feet on deck. And so this sacred embodied way of understanding self-care has been a um, powerful way in my own journey, and continues to be a powerful way in my own journey. I am still emerging as everyone else here is emerging. We're all emerging through these shifting times. And it's just been such a wonderful way to have a process to peel away those layers of illusion and begin to reveal the divine creative source of the soul within that has always been there. It's just been patiently awaiting reunification in divine at oneness. And so I'm going to circle back to the point about being a licensed chakra dance facilitator now for close to 10 years, because I've seen this in my own experience through doing my training twice now, as well as in witnessing how when we move our bodies, we move our worlds. And this chakra dance process is a dance movement healing process that offers us a map back to our inner world, to a reintegration of all the different multidimensional aspects of ourself. It's a doorway into that. There's many. It's just one. It's one that I found to be incredibly powerful. And it uses spontaneous dance movement, um, chakra resonant sound healing music, and mandala art. So it really works on that below our radar level of anything that has been stuck and is awaiting resolution within us. And one of the most powerful moments that I can remember, and I love this moment because I was offering a workshop, an intro to chakra dance workshop at a dance studio in Toronto. And, I did a sort of a brief intake at the beginning prior to offering the program. And there was a woman who needed a chair to sit on, and so I honored that for her. At one moment, though, she felt called to stand up, and what she shared in the sharing part of the workshop a little later on, afterwards, when we were I was inviting everyone to share, is that at that moment when we were dancing the root chakra, it was the first time in a long time that she felt stable enough to stand, and she didn't have any experience of the vertigo. And in that moment, it really blew me away. Another experience that comes to mind is how I was gifted with the blessing of having an amazing opportunity to work with and offer a chakra dance session to a friend who had experienced an accident that left him as a quadriplegic. And the fact that he was even open to doing a chakra dance session fascinated me and excited me in ways I can't even begin to describe. And his words at the end of the session were he didn't want it to end. And there were what really surprised me was that there were sort of spontaneous movements, like twitches happening in his legs and in his hands. Now, I knew he had some movement in his hands, but the legs were something that I didn't know he had any movement in. And maybe he had, the point being that when we begin to move our energy, we literally move our lives. And these experiences, along with many others, have really invited me to get even more curious and wonder about the power of really this work. So, right now, I am going to invite you to, I know I'm going a little bit longer than I usually do, and I'm just going to trust my guidance with that because it feels complete with everything that I felt guided to share with all of you today. And now I want to offer you some soul balm in the form of some practice. And so I'm going to invite you to find a comfortable place where you will not be disturbed for our sacred self-care practice right now. And I'm going to invite you to place your hands on your heart if it's safe to do so. Again, I would encourage you to watch the replay if you're driving right now and listening to this. And beginning to start with noticing your breathing, feeling the warmth of your hands on your heart and the warmth of your heart on your hands. And just setting an intention to connect high above your head with the source of your divine light, and seeing, sensing, or imagining a beautiful waterfall of light, golden light, beginning to pour down into the crown of your head, washing in behind your eyes, down along your throat, into your heart, overflowing from the chalice in your heart and spilling down into your stomach, into your sit bone. Continuing to breathe that beautiful golden light down along each of your legs, out through the soles of your feet, sending that light deep into the crystalline core of Mother Earth. Being here now in your body, feeling rooted, anchored, and held. Breathing in and out gratitude and sending it to Father Sky and Mother Earth for this beautiful continuum of light being expressed and channeled through the vehicle that is your body. Breathing that in and allowing a smile to form on your face. As you begin to breathe that beautiful golden light back up from the core of Mother Earth, back up to the soles of your feet, up along your legs, up through your sit bone, breathing it up to your stomach and up once more into your heart. And sending that beautiful golden light energy out to the many layers of your energy field, your aura, playing with this energy, sending it, extending it as far as you can. Noticing that every single cell in your body is online with this beautiful golden, sparkly light energy. breathing in calm and releasing anything at all that is not of the light. And beginning to listen to your body, to notice what you're noticing, any sensations, any thoughts crossing your mind, any memories, and coming back to your breathing. And now I invite you to bring one hand above your body, high above your head, and you can place the other one, if you feel guided to do it, your sit bone, and just begin in the safe, sacred space that you've co-created with the divine to begin to draw your right hand down over your body, scanning it, noticing any fluctuations, any areas that call you to pause for a moment or two, and just noticing what you're noticing. Allowing the mind to relax and the divine to smile through you as you remember how you are an energy being. And then take a moment and honor where your hands would like to gently place themselves, and begin to send love to that area. Begin to send love to that area. And I'm going to give you a little bit of time to do that right now. And just taking a moment to feel that area that you sent love to in your body, and thank it for speaking to you, and thank yourself for listening to it. And as you move through your day today, be open to noticing what you're noticing. Befriend that part of your body. Listen to it. Continue to deepen your relationship with it. Honor it. Invite it to speak to you even more. Invite it to speak to you when you dream tonight. And know and trust that all is well, and that whatever emerges is in the perfect, right, and divine timing to help you to grow and expand beyond your wildest dreams of what's possible for you. And before I close, I just want to invite you to join us next Sunday when I'll be interviewing the beautiful Cynthia Romer, Divine Feminine Christed mentor and teacher, to discuss the hidden source of stress and how to soar beyond it. And also starting on October 15th, I'll be offering my 9-week Chakra Dance to Heal Your Life e-course online. So if that sounds really good to you and you'd like more support with sacred embodiment and sacred self-care, please reach out to me at info@pollyannablanco.com. As always, it's been an honor and a blessing to be here with you, beautiful creative soul. Keep shining your light bright. You've got this. Much love and light. In Lak'ech Alakeen, I am another you, and you are another me. Be well, beautiful creative soul.